Monroe, Indiana, on February 24th, 2015 at 5 p.m. to consider the following additional appropriations in excess of the county budget for the year 2015 and to transact any further business which might come before the county. Porter County seated fund. Seated 1112-2010, 3120, consultants 483-811.32, 2030-3680, drain maintenance $2,797.81. Porter County cable franchise fees 4906, 3680, 3,292.19. Porter County General Fund share of pension, $1,012.30 per 602, 2,208. Porter County Cumulative Bridge Fund, 1135, 2210, gas, fuel, and lubrication, 100,000. 2310, tires, tubes, etc., 20,000. 2340, small tools, 5,000. 2361, culverts, 75,000. 3650, vehicle repair, 50,000. 3660, safety, 75,000. 3950, contractual, 50,000. 4420, motor vehicles, 100,000. 4430, other mobile equipment, 40,000. 3620, structure, 156. 361, 545, and 67 cents. Porter County local roads and streets, 1159, 10. Diesel, gas, and oil, 250,000. Local roads and streets, 4420. Motor vehicles, 100,000. General Courts County user fee, fund 2,500, 2506, 1350, 78. Jurors expenses, $60,000. Recorded perpetuation fund, 1189, 3610. Maintenance agreement, 5,000. 3130, training and ed, 1,000. Prosecutor crime victim assistance, 8112. 1110, salaries, 2379. And this is fund 8112. 3130, training and education, 4,875. Prosecutor deferral fund, fund 2500, 2501, 1210, FICA, 182. 1230, PERS, 266.45. County added state and local grant funds reduction. The fatal and drug local grant 9114, 3950 contractual reduction of 4,587, and prosecutor drug task force reduction fund 4010, 4111, 2251 undercover expenses a reduction of 2,376.35 cents. Taxpayers appearing at such meetings shall have a right to be referred thereon. The additional appropriations which finally made will be referred to the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance. The GLGF will make a written determination as to the sufficiency of funds to support the appropriations made within 15 days of receipt of a certified copy of the action taken. Victor Van Carter, Porter County, published February 13, 2015 in the Chesterton Tribune.
Thank you very much. Porter County Seed Fund. Seed Capital Improvements, 1112-2010-30 additional. 483-811.32 to 3120, Consultants, Inc., autopsy. Previously approved funding that needs to be reallocated to pay new vendor for drainage storm sewer project. Gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Rich and I are here tonight with respect to reallocation requests on last year's drainage funds that have been encumbered for either a different project or a different vendor. And I don't know if you have the chance to find my memo in your packet. The significant part of our request is that the first fund, which would be the Seeded Capital Improvement Fund, shows a request for $483,811. That would be requested to go to two different projects. So we'd like to identify both the project, plural, and the vendors, which we understand is what is necessary here.
This is the South Haven storm drainage.
Yes, sir. The first amount, the larger amount, would be the $426,482. The new project would be the South Haven storm drainage, phase 1. It's the beginning of it. The vendor will be the Twin Creeks Conservancy District. And then the smaller amount of $57,000
could ask, we've all seen the drainage issues that are existing in South Haven. I think when we had a report some time back, that was one of our worst areas for drainage. What, this 42642, what portion of that project will this sort of address?
I think it's the starting point, and it's certainly not going to solve everything, but the phase one, as we call it, is in the center area, north center area, and Old South Haven. It is somewhat adjacent to, but not directly affected by the Governor Road.
Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah.
So it would be a prerequisite project for that.
Do you have a time frame on when you might be remediating the issue in Governor? Not yet.
Although we believe this project will have a secondary level of improvement, we're not going to sit here and tell you that this solves it. Dan, you alluded to your study. South Haven is the worst area for drainage, and you're looking at $17 million to fix it. This is a drop in the bucket financially, although the Conservancy District is also adding $250,000 of our money to that project. And this is phase one of a multi-phase, multi-funding project. We're going to have to do a lot more work and find a lot more money. But this is the beginning. You have to start somewhere.
Yep.
And we're hoping this summer we can let this project and get going on this task. And in the interim, we're hoping between the Conservancy District and the county, we can continue to partner financially and otherwise to find a way to keep water from running into these people's houses.
You know, the initial sidewalks that were put out there back in the 90s along that was federal. Is there federal monies available?
We continue to look, and we're very fortunate that Dave Burris is working on this project with us, because Dave is looking, as is apparent from this request, in every corner in which he can find some money. Nothing is jumping off the page, Jim, at us as federal programs that would be available, and to the extent that there are any, they tend to be income-sensitive areas. And although I don't know if you South Haven is not the most wealthy area in the county, it's also probably not poor enough to qualify for many of those federal programs that are based on income.
Could make a comment. This number that we're requesting to be reallocated, a specific number was arrived at because we had a project that was not able to be completed at that time. So this is an initial contribution, in my mind, to the first phase. We have to look for some more than we can have.
And you're thinking that the overall project for the South Haven remediation is going to be around 17 million?
That's what your DLZ study indicated. It was the number one priority. It was also the most costly in terms of fixing it.
How much, David, if you were given the money, how busy is this going to keep you? How long before the next project comes up?
With respect to South Haven,
Yeah.
well, I think this can be completed this year. I think the engineering may have already done. I can think of why it would not be completed this year, as long as we can support sufficient funds. But to do the entire package of South Haven,
And of course, these are monies from 13 and 14. Dave is now looking for 2015 monies from the commissioners and other places to continue this project.
And drawing on some of the things that were said, I believe in your initial presentation in regard to South Haven, that infrastructure is so
Antiquated.
Yeah. Well, it's just shocking. I mean, can we afford to throw this out 10 years before it's actually fixed?
Well, that goes to some discussions that we had sort of early on, was there's a time value of money, for one thing. It would be nice if we could just do it all and not be concerned that we have the upkeep and maintenance costs, but I mean, I think that's going to be one of the things we need to.
Because what we're from 17 million with 15, 20-year term, we basically made your bond payment for the entire year. And you just said, that's why I asked you the question, when are we likely to be back? And you say about a year. So, I mean, wouldn't we be better off,
I'm not in a position to
Dan touched on it, you know, the whole money system. It's money better spent if we go on the swoop and fix it, you know, with whatever resources we have available, or piecemeal it out like we're doing now.
I think we need to determine the one fell swoop funding. But in order to complete that work, it would be a disaster up there trying to do it all at one time. Every street and every back.
Right. It's gotta be phased.
Some level of progressive phasing could be incorporated with overall funding plan.
Well, it's the most densely populated area besides the worst flooding area, and then that's a lot of money.
6,000.
All right, guys, we've got these requests in front of us. Is that both additionals? I think they're both.
Yeah, there's three.
Oh, the cable franchise 4906-0000-30, also an additional. Motion is on all three. Second concurs. Any further discussion?
Where does this get us in terms of Governor Road? Maybe I missed it.
It will indirectly improve Governor Road, and it will make it flood less. It's still going to flood. If we get the kind of rain that we got last time when it flooded, this project will not alleviate that. But it's moving toward the resolution of that. Appropriately, we're starting at what I call the headwater, just south of 6, which is where the water leaves South Haven and goes into Twin Creek, Squirrel Creek. Okay. And then we're gonna work back upstream as the money's available to fix the problem. And, Governor Road is positioned, I mean, if we had $5 million right now, I could tell you we're fixing the Governor Road problem. But we don't, and because of that, we're working that direction.
When we describe it another way, we're providing an outlet.
Right, the water will get away
It's the
quicker.
prerequisites of the Governor Road.
Right.
Remediation. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one more. When you assess the cost of completing that or addressing all that out there, are you including blacktopping?
Yes, anything that we are doing as a project is really disturbing the pavement or curbs or gutters or sidewalks would be explored as a part of the project.
Which begs the question, part of the thinking is, when we get going, we will be knocking on the door of the highway department in hopes that they can help us and contribute some manpower and some material to keep the project costs down by doing some of the repaving of the roads that we tear up.
Let's get a roll call on these.
All three of them?
Yes.
Okay, Councilwoman Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
And Councilmember Grant?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good evening. Stay warm. Porter County General Fund Sheriff, 1000-1005-05, additional $602,208 to 1230 per to appropriate funds for sheriff pension cost your August. Scott, I think we had a conversation about this, right? This is the one that we don't necessarily need.
We don't have to do all of this right now. We can do, what we can do, left hand, say $400,000, quite a bit down the road, and I'll take a better idea of what would be coming into, what will be coming into the sheriff's, civil service fees, et cetera. But I would suggest probably $400,000.
So I thought we would do half and then half. 6 is higher than half because we get some money back. 400,000, I think, right? So, my suggestion would be 400,000. Any thoughts on that?
So we'll,
We have a motion for 400,000. Is there a second? And a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, let's get a roll call.
Okay. Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs? Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
yes.
Councilmember Grant?
Yes.
And Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
6-0.
Sheriff, Fed, DOC, 1230 1217-1217-0032, transfer $14,494 from 2230 groceries to 1110 salaries to cover increase of jail commander $7,844 and to cover increase of first class to captain 6650, plus the Form 144, 0 to 7844 for jail commander, 0 to 6650 for captain. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
All of them?
Yes.
The motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second it for some discussion.
Let's have a discussion.
What is this exactly? You guys recall, is this the increase in
Yes.
salary for the
Yes.
commander?
For the commander.
He's doing a reorganization in his department.
Right. Captain, is that something new to be discussed?
I don't know that part, but
Oh, he's taking, yes, sir, he's taking a merit captain, one officer, and plugging them in as the jail commander.
Yeah, I think that, refresh me on the 66.
the 6650 for captain.
Because that,
This here, to cover the increase?
Well, I think what he's asking is, he remembers what we discussed ad nauseum, the increase of the jail commander. He's wondering about the 6650 for captain.
Yes, exactly.
What's that?
It's for the individual taking the spot.
moving up in rank and being compensated?
Yes. Fill that open position of captain on the merit side.
So I guess the question then is, the individual that was formerly the chief is moved over to jail commander.
Yes,
There's a new chief,
yes.
and then but then that, what does it do for, how does it open up more money for
Well, it's
captain?
not, the captain that's what the commander's current rank is. Because he's moving out of the merit side
Right.
of the sheriff's department into the jail, that opens up the captain slot on the merit side. So they have to do a promotion
I got you. Somebody.
from a lieutenant.
Okay.
He's off then, you think?
Yes.
Any other questions or discussion?
There's, a fund that, maybe, the auditor could have thought about. One of the funds that went dry 3 years over was 217 and 237, and you remember anything?
And this is a fund that used to be its own fund. It comes from fees paid for by state and federal, the sheriff marshal, the federal,
Right.
the state and federal for housing state federal prisoners. However, the money should never have been put in its own fund. It actually needs to be deposited in the general fund. So this is part of the general fund. We just account for it separately, keep track of the fee. You might recall all that discussion
Yes.
a few years ago.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
The fund is approximately 60 years old, as long as there's U.S. Marshals, inmates in there.
Well, who was not the marshals? So it's going terribly awry.
Yeah, there's no way that can run.
You know, I guess I would like to get from the sheriff a request from him sort of the last few years, and I know I've seen it, but just something to update us all on how the federal inmates, the revenue's been running. So Joy, can you request that of him? Thank you. Just that, to address that question.
Maybe they can get that for safety.
Yeah, I can look at the sheriff. Because I want some projections. Yeah, because at one time the former sheriff had come to us and had indicated to us, and this is what, Sylvia's alluded to, is that we had gotten a presentation at one point that fund was going to run dry. And there were a series of reasons why that was going to happen, and that didn't necessarily come to fruition because the stars lined up a little bit better for us. But let's get an updated kind of projection. And then, yes, the auditor can give us some information, but I kind of want to hear from the sheriff what he thinks it's going to be. Okay, do we have a motion, a second on this? Let's get a roll call. Yeah, we have a roll call. This is on the transfer and the Form 144, I assume. All
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes. Perfect. General Court, jury pay fund, $60,000 for 1350 jurors' expenses. I think, Scott, we deduced that this is not a general fund expenditure, that this comes from its own fund, and they allocate this and don't use it with respect to that fund, correct? We have a motion. We have a second. Scott, that's correct, right?
Correct.
All right. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
And Councilmember Witz?
Yes.
6-0.
Highway, local roads and streets, 1169-0000-91. There's an additional $250,000 to 2210 gas, fuel, and lube, setting up a new line item for LRS to compensate for MVH budget reduction 2015. And then there's another additional $400,000 to 4420 motor vehicles to compensate for HVH budget reduction 2015.
Second.
So a motion is second. Any discussion on these?
Just, David, I mean, what do you hear downstate? Is this?
Okay, real quick,
Progress?
short form and short story. 3 different entities downstate: state auditor, DLGF, state board of accounts. In June, we get the estimate budget figures from the state auditor that we are to figure our budgets. Okay? We figure our budgets as tight as we possibly can. We bring them to you. You approve them on our honor. We send them to the DLGF. They look at it and approve it. And then the State Board of Accounts comes back and says, well, wait a minute, you're not going to have enough money to support this budget. That's when I go like this and go, okay, wait a minute. So I had a short conversation with a really, really nice, informed person at the State Board of Accounts. And she explained to me that none of the 3 entities visit with one another. They don't talk. So the state auditor is setting a number to me, and the State Board of Accounts is saying, you're not going to have enough money. So what we did here was got a reduction from the State Board of Accounts because they say I'm not going to get enough money in my MVH account. To date, I've already got $51,000 more than we did last year at this time. I believe we're going to have enough money, but the State Board of Accounts is saying no. But this nice young lady that I visited with said, well, did you know you can do the same thing with your local roads and streets account that you do with your MVH account? And for 12 years, I did not know this. I don't even think Mr. Holden knew this. We've always used it for just principal little items. She said, we can use my LRS account for everything but payroll. And I went, really? My LRS account is a little bit more soluble, and there's money left over in that we've never used before, and it's always had a balance at the end.
So the bottom line is we can do this.
Yes, we can do this.
All right, fantastic. I wish they would agree down there like we agree up here.
It's amazing how they do not talk.
I know, we have open communication constantly. We should learn from it. We have a motion and a second on these 2 additionals.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Witz? And Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
6-0.
Human Bridge 1135-0000-91, quite a few additionals, reason state budget reduction to 0, need to appropriate line items as approved at budget time. What's your pleasure with this? We have a motion
Second.
and a second. I assume on all the additionals?
Yes.
Perfect. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
And Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
6-0.
Human Bridge 1135-56-91, additional 361-545 and 67 cents to 3620 building and structure 156 for county share of bridge project underway. Motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Porter County Recorder's Office, Recorder's Perpetuation Fund 1189-0000-04. Additional 5,000 claims to 3610 maintenance agreements, appropriation requested for 2015 maintenance agreements for remainder of the year. And then there's an additional $1,000 to 3130 training and ed, appropriation request for required training in the first quarter of 2015.
Motion to approve.
Both?
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? And there's a second. Discussion. Pretty straightforward stuff. Hearing no discussion, roll call on both the additionals, please.
Okay, Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
And Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Alvin?
6-0.
You agree?
Thank you.
All right, so do it. County Assessor. Reassessment 1188-0000-09, transfer $1,000 from 2110 office supplies to 2250. Other supplies, measuring equipment, batteries, other items that we use in our daily work, as opposed to those items you don't use, that would not be classified as office supplies. Then there's also a reassessment request, transfer 3,000 from 2110 office supplies to 4410 office equipment over $100. Portage Township Assessor has requested new monitors, quote is $157 each.
Motion to approve.
Both transfers. Is there a second? And a second discussion.
$1,000 for batteries and tape measures?
Outrage.
You bought batteries with it?
True. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Transfers are approved.
No.
General EMA 1000-1047-0047, there's a transfer of $71.78 and 76 cents from 1120 hourly to 1110 salary. Deputy Director moving from part-time to full-time. Then we have a transfer of $71.78, 76 from salary to hourly. Administrative assistant moving from full-time to part-time. When the music stops, they sit down. For 144. 0 to 42,000, Deputy Director, part-time to full-time, 31,516 to 0, full-time to hourly.
Yeah, what's this mean to your budget?
Actually, $5,000 less than it was last year.
Motion
The
to approve.
music just stopped. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? And a couple of seconds. Any discussion? Let's get a roll call.
Okay, Councilmember Biggs.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes. Very good.
And I'd like to thank Karen Hughes, or Karen Field, excuse me, for 46 years.
Oh, wow.
Retired, that's why we're here.
Wow.
46 years.
Think I'll be with you, but on this board for 46 years.
Shoot me.
Yeah.
Something went really wrong.
You've been on 4 years, and it feels like 46 years to us. Health Department, Form 144, 42,206 to 41,206, PHN Immunization Coordinator. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. What is this? No one's here from health?
We're bringing on a new RN that is.
Coming in less?
Well, yeah.
Is that right? So it's less.
That's starting last night. She's
They're
replacing
wanting
somebody that's
to,
been on there a while.
right, and.
At a higher salary.
Whenever we have a 144, Joy, send something out. Whenever there's a 144, I want someone here from the department. Yeah. Because not this one, but there's questions that come up. I don't want to guess anymore. All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor with this.
Yes.
Any discussion?
Can we make that policy?
I think I just did it. That was my heavy hand. Executive session.
Well, you stay healthy.
That's true. Oh my God. We don't need immunization. Let's get a roll call on the 144, please.
Okay, Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
And Councilmember Biggs.
Yes.
6-0.
Auditor and eligible deductions. Transfer 27,750 from 3120 consultants to 110 salaries to fund homestead compliance specialist. Transfer 1592 from 3120 Consultants, Inc., autopsy, to 1210.5 to the fund FICA for homestead compliance specialist. 2331 from 3120 Consultants, Inc., autopsy, to 1230 PERF to fund PERF for homestead compliance specialist. 13,035 from 3120 Consultants to 1220 Medical Life Insurance to fund monthly health insurance costs for homestead compliance specialist. Transfer 30,000 from 3120 Consultants, Inc., autopsy, to 3950 contractual service to fund contractual obligations. What's your pleasure with this stuff?
Second.
Motion is second on the floor. Questions?
What is this, the Inc. autopsy? Is that the line item for autopsies?
No, it's,
It's consultants, including autopsies.
yes, for some reason, that's how that line item is structured.
Because I noticed we, with the drainage work, we were taking money out of it as well. Is that,
It's,
are we still okay there? With that line item?
yes.
For, I didn't want Chuck in front of us saying, hey, what happened to our money?
That's the insanity of what the highway was, I mean, it's just what it's called.
I can check into if that's outdated or not, but.
It's not.
No,
So,
something
yeah,
including like.
yeah.
Ineligible deductions, is that a new fancy word for non-reverting funds?
No, that's the proper word.
Oh, it's proper.
Well, let me ask you a quick. Is it the same that they used to call the non-reverting fund?
Yes,
Okay.
and you can keep calling it that if you want, but
Okay.
that is the proper word.
Okay. Yes.
So this is the non-reverting fund we're creating a position?
Yes,
What does this do to your budget overall?
for the non-reverting fund budget?
This is all, it's not general funds, it's non-reverting, so.
Yes, it keeps it exactly the same. The total bottom line.
Hold on a minute. Is there a question on the floor?
Is there someone, because you're actually creating a position for this now, they're gonna be on the insurance.
Yourself.
Yes, and I have the insurance budgeted in the,
You have
in your
insurance budget?
policy,
Okay.
non-general funds pay for all benefits within the fund,
Okay.
unfortunately.
All right. This is what you wanna do?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, she's proposing something that she's very much against.
Just wanted to make
So this was what we had subject matter experts performing previously, and now we're hiring somebody full-time to do it at a cost savings?
Yes, consultant, it was, a consultant, yes.
I was making fun of
Somebody.
the Linda subject matter experts. We all remember that, don't we?
Jeremy has to embrace those opportunities to use big words. Let's not curtail him, let's encourage him. Okay, so,
I think that was an insult.
we have a motion. We have a motion, and we also have a 144, Form 144, 0 to 37,000 homestead compliance specialist, that's in there too. So the motion second involved the 144, and the second concurs? All right, perfect. No further discussion, let's get a roll call on this.
Okay, can I go out of order, maybe?
Just read them off the name.
Okay, Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
Councilmember Litton.
Yes?
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
And Councilmember Graham.
Yeah.
6 to 0 in the affirmative.
Excellent.
And guess what, I didn't go out of order, that's what it
Yay.
is.
It was meant to be, Vicki, meant to be. Porter County Prosecutor's Office, VOCA grant, additional 2379 to 1110 salaries. 3 of the grant employee salaries were increased by the grant from 29,207 to 30,000, an increase of 793 each employee. Also, an additional of 4875 to 3130 training and ed. Grant was increased to include training and education for each employee. Obviously, all grant funds. What's your pleasure? The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second discussion, hearing none, let's get a roll call.
Councilwoman Graham,
Yes.
Councilwoman Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Litton,
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
and Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
Deferral fund, thank you very much. Deferral fund, 2500 to 2501-08, additional $182 to 1210 FICA. 3 of the grant employee salaries were increased by the grant. 26645 to 1230 PERF, same reason. Form 144, 29206 to 30,000 victim advocate. 29207 to 30,000 victim advocate. 29207 to 30,000 victim advocate. What's your pleasure? We have a motion. A I assume on both additionals and the 144.
The
Discussion.
prosecutor deferral fund, is that, how much money is in that?
I think it's pretty healthy. It's pretty healthy, right?
Is it? Okay.
Last we checked, I think it was in pretty good shape.
Good question.
$291,648.
Thank you.
All right? Any other questions? I agree, good question, Sylvia. Well done. Well done. I'm telling you. Roll call.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
Councilmember Dick.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Yes.
And Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
6-0.
OWI Fatal Drugs Local Grant 91140000-08, reduction 4587 from 3950 contractual services grant was decreased, a difference of 458742. And then there is the undercover expenses fund 4010411-08, reduction 2376.35 from 2251 undercover expenses. At time of budget, the balance was 30,624.48, but at end of year, rate expense of 2,376.35, which may be correct. Balance for 2015 to be 28,248.13. What is your pleasure?
Motion approved.
On both?
Yes.
The motion of both reductions, is there a second? Second discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
Councilmember, Biggs.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
6-0 in the affirmative.
Good night. Second reading, please.
Okay. Yes. Oh, I can't find the sheet. Okay. Notice to taxpayers of proposed additional appropriation. Notice is hereby given that the Porter County Council approves the following additional appropriation. Porter County Civic Fund, total of $486,609.13. Porter County Cable Franchise Fee Fund, $3,292.19. Porter County General Fund, the PERS for the sheriff was approved at $400,000. Porter County Juvenile Search Fund, a total of $876,545.67. Porter County Local Road and Street Fund, 1159, a total of $350,000.
This is Peter.
The Porter County User Fee Fund, $2,525.06, total of
Gentlemen, I believe
$60,000.
Sylvia's trying to listen to the auditor.
Yes.
I apologize, Sylvia.
The Recorder Perpetuation Fund, 1189, a total of $6,000. The Prosecutor Crime Victim Assistance Local Grant, total of $7,254. Prosecutor Deferral Fund, $2,525.01, $448.45. The County Out-of-State Local Grant Fund, Drug Local Grant 9114, reduction of $4,587. And the Prosecutor Drug Task Force, reduction of 40/10/40/11, a reduction of $2,376.35.
Wonderful. What's your pleasure?
Second.
Motion second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Dick. Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Jenkins.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
And Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
6-0 in the affirmative.
Perfect. All right, before we get to the attorney's report, one other thing. Just want to let everybody know a few things. One of them is, with respect to the foundation committee, myself, Sylvia, and Bob Popper was sick, he didn't come. And Commissioner Good met with, and Scott met with the folks that we had invited to participate as advisory board members. And tonight, we kind of updated them on the existing, most recent draft of the legislation, gave that out to everybody. I've also asked Scott to get all you a copy, which I believe has been dispensed in case you didn't have a copy of it. We talked about the different options that are included inside that legislation, and we, of course, talked a little bit about that foundation idea outside, without the legislation, to kind of get everybody understanding where we're at, kind of bring up the speed, and as things move along, both downstate and up here, we will kind of move things forward. Karen or Jeremy, the animal shelter.
We and the committee are meeting with Commissioner Lane tomorrow afternoon for the discussion.
All right.
Just looking at it at this point in time, I guess the conversation needs to start at, our operating expenses relative to what size building we're gonna build. I think we all agree we wanna build it and move forward, but it's gotta be within the current budget, because I don't think we got much, money to be increasing our operating costs.
Yeah, I think there was a plan or a proposed or projected budget from years ago that was fairly salty. So I think they're looking at that again. Keep us posted as that kind of moves along. Jim, insurance.
Well, as everybody knows, the commissioners have moved forward with selecting the new what they're thinking is a new program. To be honest with you, I've been kind of struggling getting the information that I needed to formulate a report that would make any sense. I don't see much sense at this time to move forward with the report.
Right.
They've made their decision. I think folks trying to propose it at this point, it's not going to serve everybody any good. I wish it well. I hope it does. We'll let's see.
Right.
So,
Okay.
forward we go.
I would like to make one comment.
Sure.
That the council did, definitely gave them a $9 million help, is that right? Everyone agree with that?
Yeah, we did, and the task that we presented them with was to get it in that budget allocation. And as Jim indicated, they made a decision on a direction that they wish to go. I think it's a form of cost plus. And they believe they must think they can get it in the budget that we gave them. So, as Jim said, let's wish them the best.
The success will be dictated by how close they get to that $9 million.
Right, and I mean, and the question also, and I mean, some of this stuff, yeah, exactly. And some of this, we're still claims driven, so it could be that they come in, in future say, gosh, we're at $7 million, huge success, but our claims were way down. And then, so all of this sort of precipitated or sort of hinged on the notion that we are looking at our claims history, and they are looking at our claims history, and I hope for a couple of reasons our claims are down. For one, it's cheaper, and two, people are more healthy. So,
well, if it works, the decision speaks for itself. If it doesn't,
they got some explaining to do. So, all right, sounds good. And Jeremy, I think you had something.
I guess back, did we do it where we at with the whole HR? Did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh, we're done with the HR.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mean to.
Where are we at with the HR committee? So,
the latest update there is Sylvia and I were invited to participate in the final interviews of the 4 candidates that the commissioners had. We appreciate the opportunity to be part of that process, frankly, and gave our input in terms of who we thought was the most qualified candidate. And we're anxious to hear the results, but we do appreciate the fact that we're invited to participate. So we'll see what
That
they're.
was a very, very good, interesting interview.
4 highly qualified
Highly
people that we
qualified.
interviewed, which was
good. Very good. All right. Thanks, Jeremy. I knew I was forgetting the committee, but I couldn't remember. Did you have something now?
Yeah, I'd like to introduce a resolution. I know it was last minute, but everything's been happening last minute. It's on the repeal of the common construction wage law in Indiana that has now passed the House and is headed over to the Senate. I'm just asking this council to stand, to pass this resolution and stand behind the law that's been in has benefited from the county construction wage, on a number of different projects, whether it was the county jail that was built, by, Biggs, or, public or private, that, there was a PLA in the hospital, which followed that. I know right now we have this Bethel school system that's gonna build $167 million worth of upgrades and renovations and new schools, and we have a, animal shelter we'd love to build. But I think the basis of this is that it's about using local tax dollars, or even local private, to invest in our local community, our local workers, and doing so by paying them a living wage. It's investing in human capital, by, it's training. These common construction wage, it's a threshold that's up here, and part of that threshold, there's education and training component in there, and that's why you pay it. If we get rid of this, the only threshold that we'll have any longer is minimum wage. And I don't see how that's good for any community. When people don't make a living wage, it's not a community that is gonna thrive. So, I would just ask that, I think we've all benefited from it, and this is about making sure that, hey, the next school that we build, that it's done by your neighbors, that they're trained, they're brought through, they're making a living wage.
They're spending money in your community, paying taxes in your community. Yes, that's right.
So, I would just, if you guys would like me to read this, or
Yeah,
pass it as written.
Okay.
All right, whereas the Porter County Council is the fiscal body of government in Porter County, Indiana, and whereas House Bill 1019 is legislation that would eliminate the use of common construction wage, and whereas public testimony on House Bill 1019 was heard by the Employment, Labor, and Pensions Committee of the Indiana House of Representatives on February 17, 2015, and whereas the testimony indicated that while there was anecdotal evidence that this bill would generate savings to government units in Indiana, the academic and expert testimony indicated there would be little, if any, savings to governmental units in the state due to the elimination of the common construction wage. And whereas the testimony by owners and officers of construction companies that do public construction projects in Indiana was that this bill would directly injure their companies by eliminating the funding for training and apprenticeship programs at a time when there is an already critical shortage of skilled and trained construction workers in Indiana. And whereas the testimony by owners and officers of the construction companies and academic experts indicated this bill would hurt both union and non-union construction companies and workers by opening the door to low-paying, out-of-state construction companies that would reduce the household incomes of Indiana residents that are employed in the construction industry by as much as one-half. And whereas the testimony by elected officials of government units indicated this bill would hurt residents of the communities, make it harder to evaluate bids for projects, and make it harder to keep the economic development benefits of construction projects in their community. And whereas House Bill 1019 was passed out of the Employment, Labor, and Pensions Committee of the Indiana House of Representatives on February 17, 2015, and has been sent to the full Indiana House of Representatives, and now there be resolved, the Porter County Council strongly urges the Indiana legislature to not pass House Bill 1019 and encourage the state legislators in Northwest Indiana to work together to prevent the passage of House Bill 1019 or any other similar legislation that would eliminate the use of common construction wage on public works projects. This resolution passed and adopted this 24th day of February 2015.
What's your pleasure with this resolution? I have a motion and a second. Let's get a roll call, please.
Okay, Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Councilmember Biggs?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
And Councilmember Conover?
Yes.
6-0 in affirmative.
Let's get that out to our, we'll get that resolution to our representatives down there. I have another resolution. I was contacted by, Porter County Library Board. They're asking that we, pass a resolution urging the Board of Trustees to have the libraries, open, or 2 library branches open on Sunday afternoons. They've had, a fairly large, request for that, and they're contemplating that, option. So, the other resolution in front of you, we discussed, you brought this to us, right? And, it does just that. Want it read?
I just wanted to add that, just talking casually amongst our board here, some of us thought it was already open on Sunday. And secondly, talking to, some of our, younger moms at my office, they said they would definitely love to utilize a library in our county going on Sunday.
So you have this resolution in front of you, what's your pleasure?
Move.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Seems like a quality of life issue here, so let's, keep the doors open.
Sure.
Do what we can for our kids and for Jim Biggs too. We
Mr.
could,
Morgan.
Some nights for me, don't want to get kicked out of the house.
Somewhere to go.
You can go back and look at the microfiche of the days of commissioner back then.
Younger, prior Commissioner Biggs. Can we get a roll call on this resolution, please?
That's how funny you get that for a resolution.
Man, he's giddy, he's giddy.
Councilmember Biggs.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yeah.
Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
Councilmember Conover.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Yes, they will. Yeah, we did.
So we'll get that to, Steve Summers, who's the one that called me by. We have one other issue, I believe a bit of a housekeeping issue, and that's the commissioners had made a recommendation to us for an RDA appointment to replace the vacancy previously filled by Jeff Good.
Move to nominate Sylvia Graham. I'll remove that.
And with the proposed restrictions or requirements of that appointment, the pickings were slim, as they say, in the sense that there weren't a lot of people that would be qualified to fill that position were that passed. So I think that commissioners looked at their proposed suitors or applicants and made a determination on what their recommendation was. I looked at it, it seemed fine to me, but
Make the motion to support the commissioner's appointment of Chris Campbell to the RDA. Second.
with this motion and a second, any discussion?
Well, in the spirit of cooperation, the commissioners.
That's you, my friend. That's you.
Chris really is that.
Yeah, he is.
You guys vote, no?
Hearing no further discussion, all in favor of this appointment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Let the commissioners know. You've got the man. Scott?
Just quickly, we'll repeat, we had the meeting for the Foundation Advisory Board, they did pass out the latest amendment to House Bill 2081, this is legislation. Formally, I would encourage all of you to read it. There was some significant amendments at the beginning of the month. I think they're all still very positive. Nevertheless, call, email me with any questions you have on those amendments. And as I will keep tracking it to see what additional things happen, we update you as those become available. Things are on track, moved out of the House, moved to the Senate, so it's very good. So things are looking positive at this point.
Was it not a unanimous vote in the House?
It was.
Okay.
Okay.
If I could just add to that, it appears as if it's going to pass, which is terrific. The question I have is, with our committee addressing it, have we had any discussions about, as we prepare for it to pass, and as we prepare ourselves to have interest money that will be dispersed as we determine, have we talked about the process of how we're going to address the people that are going to be asking for these funds and asking for these loans?
Here, I think, here's the thing, no, but I think that's gonna have to come, and I think that, candidly, if this legislation were not to pass by some weird this downstate, which happens, the last 6 hours before the sessions, closes something, torpedoes it, but I don't see that, I haven't heard of that coming this time. If it weren't to pass, we'd be scrambling and trying to get our investment policy in place and our private foundation, all those things, the whole rabbit holes we could do. But if it were to pass, then we need to have a conversation about which, quite frankly, which option that we want to, one, the other, or both, that is contained inside this legislation, we want to pursue with the placement of our corpus or principle. And I think that honestly, there's going to be a lot of discussion about that. I mean, if we pursue the route of the foundation, statutory foundation, then we are de facto board members, along with the commissioners. I think at that point, the foundation, whatever funds we put in that, would need to have sort of a detailed process for how one might access or make request for the money to be invested along that is under the foundation's oversight. Now, let's say the funds that don't go in the foundation, if we were to hold some back and go the other route, then as we can see from reading this legislation, it will still require a vote of the council and the commissioners unanimously to avail ourselves to this investment strategy, for lack of a better term, that is contained in the legislation. I think at that point, we would have anticipated a tremendous amount of discussion with the commissioners about just that. What sort of, because I won't be able to do it without that, some understanding of how it's going to be invested, how it's going to be accessed, what criteria are going to be involved in all those sorts of things, because we need to know that going in. So,
Right, I mean, the communication is going to be absolutely critical, because it takes one dissenting vote, as we all know,
right,
to stop any spending at all, any dollar amount of that money.
Of the principal, not necessarily the interest rate that we derive.
yeah, but you can't get it. Here's the deal: we can't get it in either one of those two.
Right.
So, but I mean, I think in talking with the commissioners and talking amongst ourselves, I think everybody's kind of on the same sheet, with the extent that we want a clear and defined policy on how money's invested. That would, of course, have been the discussions involved in our investment policy. We agreed to go with the private foundation. I would anticipate, even though this legislation speaks to sort of the major moves which defaults to the PERF investment policy, we might want to be having some discussions about an investment policy for the foundation. Now, it may mirror the PERF investment, criteria, but we may have some additional restrictions on it, and those might be, this is how you access the money, and this is how you, gain, be approved for, borrowing against the money and things like that. I think that might need to be involved in that. The more problematic part is, the money that's not in the foundation, how will we govern that? And that's the piece.
I guess maybe more specifically, my question is, we know there are municipalities, there's groups, there's organizations that would like to be able to have access to, at least, let's talk about the interest money
Right.
specifically.
Right.
And in advance of various people asking for various projects, would it make sense to have some sort of
Yes.
plan in place to say, this is how you do it? And until we have some structured plan in place, we wouldn't be offering up
I would
any
agree
of
with
that
that.
interest money to this organization.
I completely agree. I think you're right on. And honestly, guys, I mean, there's restrictions in the legislation, I think 55% equities and others. And if our goal or anticipation is to get 5% or better on our return on money, understanding that we've still got budgetary gaps to fill with some of that, that's going to be a tall order. I mean, if we're operating under the 55% equity restriction and we're still targeting 5%, we don't really have a lot of money to lend out at some reduced rate, unless we're going to take the place of other things, that the finance committee might be contemplating investing in, like bonds or what have you. And I suppose we could allocate, but we're going to have to really maximize some of our high yield opportunities to even get close to that 5%. I tell you, that we want to. But you're right, I'm with you on that. Before we have a clear criteria on how that money is to be accessed, what eligibility requirements and that sort of thing, I don't think we should do anything.
Is that a task that the advisory board can take on to come up with some kind of process?
I would suspect that we will need, here's the thing, yes, and we had that conversation a little bit tonight with them, that, all right, let's assume for a moment the legislation passes, let's assume that we have our statutory enabled foundation where we're the board. I would hope and I would expect that we would have a layer of volunteer board members, maybe not 10, maybe smaller, because now we've got the 10 of us, to sort of advise us in things like, hey, listen, you might want to be careful of this, or you might want to talk to your investment specialist about that, and kind of keep us, our eye on the ball there as another layer of protection. And at the same time, be working on sort of a general investment policy for that foundation. Now, when we start getting into the other side of that bill, it becomes a little more procedurally challenging, because once we vote the money in, or once we vote ourselves in for that, we're kind of done. Unless we have some clear policy going in, which might not be a bad idea, with the commissioners on how it's going to move forward. And I think that that's something we'll need to discuss when that vote comes up. I mean, it seems like in talking to the commissioners and talking to you guys, there's going to be some moments of disagreement, I would suspect, on how much should go into the foundation or how much should not. There might be some big folks that feel all of it should go into the foundation, and there'll be some folks that maybe feel that not all of it, or maybe not any of it. I haven't heard that, but I guess that's possible. And we're going to have those negotiated discussions to sort of iron all that out. And that, I think, will be a perfect time to address some of my stuff about what we're talking about. And maybe we do need that advisory board to be telling us about that. Any other thoughts? Scott? Well, I thought we'd got here by 5:30, but we're not too bad. 4 pages, an hour, that's not bad. All right, everybody have a good evening.